Hey guys, welcome to another video. This should be a relatively quick video. I'm still doing traditional watercolor. I have my little sidekick with me, my second born Emmanuel. He's in the other room. So if you hear a little 2-year-old sounds or questions, that's him. But yeah, this is basically me jumping into skyscapes, I guess I could say. And I don't think I started off well, but I'm starting a fairly new series. Well, okay, not necessarily a new series, but a new format on the first take. So whatever I put down, that's what's, I'm sticking with that. I'm not going to do a retake, and that's probably not very good, like content wise, but it's just two things: one, time, and then two, it'll push me to be better on the first take. So now this may not look like much, but I like clouds. Now I don't know if some of you share that same affinity, but I like clouds. I like the varied shapes of clouds, the volumetric appearance of clouds. So I'm not like a cloud aficionado, or like a cloud nerd in a sense, and I don't mean that in a negative way. I just like, I don't know every in and out, so I can't even I can't even recall all of the different types of clouds. I mean, cumulus, that's the big puffy one, and then there's don't remember the other two or other three, because there's one that's in a different stratosphere, a different, but yeah, but so full disclosure, I already don't really like this. Like I said, I'm just doing one take on clouds. So it's going to be somewhat of a tutorial video as well. So I'm just going to continue to overlay this, and I'm just, this is all watercolor. Now the cloud work will not be watercolor, most likely, and it could have been if I had used, and I'll show you that technique at one. Although using masking fluid, this right here is masking fluid, and so if you pre-apply this to an area, wait for it to dry, and then apply your watercolor, you're then able to remove the masking fluid, and then it leaves that negative space that you can art whatever color you want, or if you want to use it as a highlight. But now with with pen white ink, you can just add your highlights directly, and I'll be using this to do the cloud work as well. So I'll just put that right there. So, but I may attempt to do some clouds where it is strictly watercolor based, and I think that would be helpful if I had like black paper or like a gray base paper. I think I have some steps. I'm sure he heard my voice. There comes the little man. Hey fella, I'm just making a video. How you doing? Good. Okay. So now I'm gonna open up. Wow. Shake it up. And wow, that's really on there tight. Okay, there we go. So honestly, when I used to draw clouds, And sometimes I still do, if I want a stylistic approach, I'll just use this as I would always try to outline the clouds, outline the shapes, try to get it just right. And sometimes, that can work just fine. Because clouds yourself, I mean, if you just drive or if you're a passenger seat, there's just all kinds of different shapes of clouds and deformations, and that's why I like them. They just look very majestic, I don't know, could be an odd thing, but I like it. But honestly, I find the key with doing cloud work, if there was a comedian, they would say crowd work. But I find with cloud work is honestly just keeping it loose, keeping it simple and loose. So I'm going to just add a couple drops right here. Maybe add a few drops right here. Contrast that darker spot. And let me see, maybe a couple right here and there. And so now, and if you want to start off with using like a sponge, that's easier. So I'm just going to use this sponge and I'm going to dab and just get really loose with. Now in my mind, I'm going with a reference from what I've seen in my mind. And sometimes I just allow my hands to control what that final reference will be, because I'm not actually thinking of a certain shape. I'm just blotting down, and then as the shape evolves, then I may think of, okay, you know what, this will be more of a typical a cumulus cloud, and I may not be saying that correctly, but those big puffy sort of storm clouds or water clouds, and there's really no wrong or way to get it going. And so I'm just going to do this, because if you look in the sky, it's not like, hey, this is what a perfect cloud looks like. So really, your cloud work can be anything you really want it to look like. Now if you want it to look like a storm clouds, then I would say, hey, it'll be good to take some photos of if you are outside and you see storm clouds forming, like a rain cloud, like overcast and it's about to rain. I would say take photos if you have a camera, or take mental stock, so that way you'll know that, hey, this is how they look. If high volume, low volume, different fares, if it's and I probably should have done a little bit more research on the fares and stuff like that. But yeah, so now you can come here. So you want some type of reference if you're going to draw a certain type of cloud or a certain time of day. If it's dawn, dusk, early morning, it'll be good to see, okay, how, what does the sky look like, and am I in a spot where there are clouds? If it's not many clouds, how does that look? So now I'm going to come on a brush and apply some gray. All right, that was too dark. That was too much black. I gotta get some gray. And then this is where I'm just gonna add, just to give it some distinction, some gray areas to highlight where, if the light is hitting the clouds in a certain kind of way, where there would be like a shadow effect in a sense. And honestly, I should have just kept the same sponge. That way it would keep the same texture. And honestly, I think with anything, you just toy around with it and see what you can get from your technique. And that's why I'm doing these videos. Like, okay, it's 10 minutes where it's just a single cut. So I don't want to show you like the absolute best, you know, video or take that I made. And that may not be the greatest thing for content, but it's not just about content, at least for me. So I applied way too many of my white watercolor, so I'm gonna end up wasting that. But yeah, so you can see some cloud work, and then if you want, you can, if you have a smaller brush, particularly if you have like some darker clouds, you can then do like some highlights like that if you want something more highlighted. Or you can my boy is looking at me. I'm making a video, so that's why Daddy is talking, but I'm talking into my telephone. So you can use, like, say you want some yellow. That's too bright for me, to be honest with you guys. I should have added some more white to that. So there you go. So that's, yeah, so that's a little, that's better. It's a little too yellow, too bright. So let me, you know, sometimes you do get those highlights depending on the position of the sun. Whenever you know, if you have a time to look at some cloud work, sometimes you do get those sharp highlights. And so but yeah, so there you go. Very basic cloud work. And like I said, this was my first. I didn't even practice or warm up. I probably should have, but I just wanted to get a video out there and show you the first take of using watercolor and with clouds, and you will see an improvement. So this is rough footage of the progression. So this is cloud work number 1. Thanks for watching. If you are watching this on my YouTube channel, be sure to hit a like and subscribe if you aren't subscribed already. Until next time, grace and peace.